Good evening and welcome. Call the meeting to order. This is the Hendrick Hudson Board of Ed. Can I get a motion to open?
Yes.
Second? All those in favor?
Aye.
If we could please all rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So, Roseanne, should I do these two agendas separately?
Well,
Does that make
yeah,
sense?
when you, the reorg we'll do first, and then when you get to the regular
And then we'll
agenda,
just
we
present
can then
that.
approve
Okay,
that
just
and then
making sure.
consent, yes.
All right, so can I get a motion to approve the reorganization agenda as presented?
Yes.
Second? Are there any items anybody would like pulled from the consent agenda? I'm sorry, from the reorg agenda.
We have one of the pulled.
21?
5-4.
I'm sorry,
Oh.
which one?
You wanted the 521, right?
521, and then we wanted to pull the
Yep, and then I had the, I'm working off the wrong one.
528, 529, 530.
Yeah, it's the questions are the attachments, the appointment of the sexual harassment officer, dignity act coordinator, and the racial harassment officer. It's essentially some questions regarding the policies. All right, so does anybody have any questions regarding the other items? Or actually, I apologize. We have to pull each one of these. We have to pull all these, right, and do them separately, right?
The appointments?
Yes, correct?
You can just.
No, but I meant people like you, where you have to do the oath, and the oaths for, like the new officers and stuff.
Well, once we approve the appointments,
We can do
then
it together.
we do the oaths of office. Joe will do it first, and then I will take mine, and then the new members.
Okay, I'm
And
gonna
then-
let you walk me through this, so
Okay.
I don't mess it up. Okay, so can I get a motion to approve the appointments on the consent agenda, on the reorganization agenda?
So moved.
Those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. So, do you want to do the oaths first, or do we address the questions first?
We should probably do the oaths first.
So-
Get that out of the way.
Mhm.
Okay.
So the oaths that we would be, the oath of office, we'll start with for one, the superintendent of schools.
Okay. Well, we're all going to stand up. This is a tradition now.
There you go.
I, Joseph E. Hochreiter, do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of New York, and I will faithfully discharge the duties of Superintendent of Schools of the Hendrick Hudson Central School District according to the best of my ability.
And I will.
Welcome aboard. The oath of office to the district clerk then.
Thank you. Okay. I, Roseanne Squilanti, do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of New York, and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of District Clerk of the Hendrick Hudson Central School District according to the best of my ability.
Okay, thank you. Next is the oath of office to newly elected board members, and that would be William Aricchio and Lisa Anderson. Welcome.
And Carol
Just
A.
saying
Graham.
welcome.
So now if you all would like to
Can we
stand
do it
and
together?
say it at the
Give us
same
the name
time,
and
you
through
can
me.
do that.
Yeah.
You can do that.
And Carol Abraham.
You're going to say our names or say I do?
You should say your name.
Okay.
I, Lisa Anderson, do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of New York, and I will faithfully discharge the duties of School Board Trustee of the Hendrick Hudson Central School District according to the best of my ability.
Thank you. So
Welcome
please sign
back,
them and I'll
Carol.
notarize them.
And welcome, Bill. Welcome, Lisa. I look forward to working with you.
Now the next section, I'm supposed to ask for nominations for board president. We have a nomination,
I'd like to nominate Mary Pat Briggy.
okay? Thank you. Do we have any other nominations? Okay, so that being unanimous, Mary Pat Briggy will be board president. for another year. Congratulations. And now we have nominations for vice president. Does anyone have a nomination?
Barbara Pedersen.
Okay. Are there any other nominations? Okay. Congratulations, Barbara.
Thank you.
Okay. And now the president and vice president, please also state the oath.
We have to stand.
I don't have where,
It's on here.
It's on here. Okay, for president and vice president.
Okay.
You just have to fill in your names because we weren't sure who that was going to be.
I,
I, Barbara
Patrick,
Pedersen, do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of New York, and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of Vice President of the Board of Education of the Hendrick Hudson Central School District according to the best of my ability.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
So that's taken care of. The consent agenda, that brings us to the consent agenda items. Can I get a motion to approve the items that were on the consent, that were not pulled from the consent agenda?
That are on the.
That is- that's
your.
But we're gonna pull the 5-2.
Yes,
And
we
then
pulled
we're gonna
those.
approve these, and then we're going to discuss 5-21, 28, 29, and 30. So if I can get a motion to approve the items not pulled from the consent agenda, the reorganization consent agenda.
So moved.
Okay,
Second?
Second.
All those in favor? Okay. The questions were 521. There were 3 items that were pulled, and one was the recertification of the district safety plan. And there were some concerns about inconsistencies on there from.
Yeah, I just, when I was scanning it, in the chain of command, in the paragraph that talked about it, it had old titles for Margaret and several other people, but then in the lower part, it had your new titles.
Okay.
So it just needs to be consistency right through.
We can talk to Anthony.
Yeah, we
Do
can
word,
get that revised.
word searches and flip them.
And actually, I was kind of curious about the chain of command as it ran down through it, like Joe, Margaret, Enrique, Anthony.
For the safety
Matthew.
plan.
For the, yeah, but to call back, and then it went to Liz, transportation coordinator, and then to Linda Foley, kind of. Is that kind of how it should run? Because Lynn has a district-wide role.
We
Well,
can.
so does Liz, if you consider the transportation piece, I mean, because that's a.
Well, I'm just curious, I mean, how is it that?
I mean, if there's a district safety plan, certainly Liz should be up there
How is it
high
determined
because
what the sequence
she's
was?
coordinating all the buses.
I'll have to talk to Anthony.
Do you have
Actually-
reservations about the
And
plan other
Enrique,
than just the
where are you on
sequence?
that?
No, I was just skimming through it, I just saw that, and I was just curious about the sequence, because the person has to, if Joe's not available, it rolls down the chain,
So,
and has to make the call as to whether we're in one of these situations or not, so who is it that you want making the call?
okay, so why don't we consult with Anthony? I would suggest we approve this to have a plan, and we can bring you back a revised one with
These.
clarification of roles and responsibilities
And
and
as well as
change
the
the
names.
titles.
All right.
Is this equivalent to our emergency plan, the district emergency
Yes,
plan?
yes.
Well, if that's, everybody should know their roles. So if people aren't knowing their roles, then it wasn't integrated. So when you have an emergency plan, there's usually a committee that reviews the plan, does the planning, and tells people what they actually have to do. So we really, especially where we are, we really need to put that
Additional
on.
But we
focus
have,
on
we
that.
had all of that was in place.
The coordinator is Anthony. Anthony is the person that coordinates it. He has a monthly meeting with safety people, representatives of each building. So everyone knows what to do. It's just probably that we need to put it in paper for Anthony should put it in paper to bring it to the board.
Well,
I
it's
agree.
in
Well, and I
paper,
think
it's
and
just
distribute it,
clarifying, yeah.
and distribute it to the necessary people. I mean,
Yeah.
those conversations are being had, are they not?
Well, it's-
Yeah.
It's in, we have a plan there.
Yeah, but if you're not conveying that plan to everybody, if people, as Lori said, if people don't know what they're supposed to do in the event, then that's.
Like in like where I teach, I have a certain job. But if nobody told me I had that job and we didn't go through it, I wouldn't know I had that job. So,
Oh, then maybe-
so you could devise a plan and say, okay, Charles and Carol and Lisa, you're in charge of this and you're supposed to do this, but I'd actually, just because I assigned you the name, I actually have to tell you, oh,
Right,
you
so-
have a job.
But this is our CERT plan, SSERT.
Exactly.
So, but I think everybody has plans.
These
I mean,
conversations are all communicated.
Everybody has a CERT
this is-
I was just curious
right?
about this.
Okay.
this
Every
part.
There's a
building
building
has
level
their
cert team,
cert,
Anthony
right.
goes and
Yes.
reviews the plan,
Right.
BOCES, the gentleman's name,
No,
Yes.
Select,
Mike Select,
Mike Select.
comes and does the annual training with the 5 schools.
Right.
The elementary schools, I don't think the middle school and high school have to do it, they do evacuation drills, they practice the drill, they practice the location, the pickup, all of those things, but we can.
We've taken the
Good.
buses, you know,
To
the
so
location.
everybody knows how to do that, all the kids know, all the teachers know. The problem is, though, I think, when you have your individual CERT teams at the building levels, those change sometimes, the membership changes, and people aren't always certain about what their particular roles are to be.
Right.
So
I think,
that's Anthony that has
Yeah,
to.
so communicate that.
But I know that early in October, we have one day that we'll evacuate with transportation
Right.
and everything, which is already in the calendar, and Liz already sent the email to everyone that, you know, that day you cannot have any plans to go out or anything, it's that day. And I don't remember the day, it's there.
and
And we'll
everybody
change
knows the bus they're
And also
supposed to
the,
take, who they're
also
supposed to go on with.
stuff.
So it's very well organized. I mean, I have to compliment whoever has been in charge because it's run very smoothly in the past, so.
Yeah. Good, that's reassuring. All right, so if we can approve this, and we'll bring those changes back and clarify some of the questions, that would be great. Can I get a motion to approve the the district safety plan, with the expectation of these changes, these clarifications? Second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Okay.
All right, the other was 528, 529, 530. It's the appointment of sexual harassment officer with the attachments of sexual harassment and the appointment of a racial harassment officer and a racial harassment of students policy, as well as the Dignity Act coordinators with the policy for Dignity for All Students Act. Questions just, and I think, are these, do we need to have a sexual harassment and racial harassment officers, or can these functions be combined under the Dignity Act coordinators? Is this redundant to have these racial and sexual harassments, or are they included within
There is a level of redundancy, but the Dignity Act came after,
the other
the
two are
Dignity Act
2000?
came after the
Yeah.
others, and from our briefing with Keen and Bean, and I think we even had this discussion last year, can we have the same person doing all of these? They've advised us, I know the last 2 years I've been here, to have 3 different individuals, so you eliminate conflict of interest and you sort of spread the coordination of those responsibilities. But the Dignity Act in particular is standalone. We have to have a coordinator in each of the 5 buildings, which are our principals, and then that leads up to someone, which in this case is Lynn.
It wouldn't, but the fact that they all cover the same thing, I mean, for example, the Dignity Act, it's, prohibits all forms of discrimination, harassment of students, including but not limited to race, sexual harassment, religious practice, disability, gender, weight, national origin, ethnic group. I mean, it seems like it's just sort of, whether it's redundant, would it make sense to have 3 dignity coordinators and just eliminate these policies of the racial and sexual harassment?
I can check if we can eliminate the policies, but I think the policies are covered under
That has to be
municipal personnel matters, but we can check.
Well, I'm just, again, it's, the information's here, and it's probably, if nothing else, maybe that's the conversation regarding to make sure that it's all consistent, if nothing else. But again, you have racial harassment, that's,
I think
what
that-
does that include? I mean, it's race, color.
I think DASA is about students, and not every issue is student on student or student and adult. So the other two compensate for an issue where it may be adult to adult. That wouldn't fall under DASA.
I just, then maybe there needs to be, if nothing else, maybe the racial and the sexual harassment, whether that needs to be broadened or, if nothing else, I think we need to look in, they're 16 years old, those two, the racial and the sexual harassment. Maybe if nothing else, if we're going to keep them, make sure that they're consistent with
Let's
the
look at,
DASA.
maybe we need an update in the policy.
Policy committee list.
Lisa, there's an opening on policy.
Barbara's. Yeah, Barbara, because it's a lot of educational policies.
policies next year, so.
All right.
Okay, we'll put that on our list.
All right, so then just look at that. And so can I get a motion to approve 528, 529, and 530?
So moved.
Second? All those in favor? So that brings us to the end of our reorganization. We're good? We covered everything, I think?
Yes.
Brings us to our regular meeting agenda. So can I get a motion to approve the items, the regular agenda as presented?
Are we gonna pull?
Yeah, I'm going to pull a couple of items. But as presented, there are two items I'd like pulled, the professional personnel.
Can I just get a second on approval of the
Oh.
agenda?
Oh, okay.
Thank you.
All those in favor?
Aye.
From I'd like to pull on 8.3, the professional personnel, I'd like to pull number 6 and number 16 and number 17. And I really don't want, I'd like to table it for further review. Since it's personnel, I'd like to have the conversation and bring it back. So if we can just pull that entirely, those three, 6, 16, and 17. Yeah, it's the professional, so if we can just pull those and table
Under
them.
professional personnel.
Next meeting. Next meeting.
We don't have one scheduled. Well, it's August unless we have settled on.
Well, then could we just go, we were talking about that, we were having, the board retreat is coming up, and I think everybody looks like they're available on the 19th and 20th. I don't know if the final date's been established. So if nothing else, we can have the conversation, we can approve it then.
Is it too late on July 20th?
I don't, if we're talking fall coaches, we're gonna get close because off-season workouts.
Well, it's still 17, it's still July 19th and 20th. No?
Exec right now.
Yeah. When you go to exec, you come back.
We could do that too. We could do exec now, talk about it, or
Okay.
table this, add it to exec before our attorney.
And then you come back.
And if you want to approve it, you approve it. If you want to leave it.
Why don't I'd rather continue on with the meeting, and then
Okay.
we can have it afterwards,
after.
rather than keep
Okay.
everybody here. So, can I get, are there any other items?
I'd like to pull A2, budget transfer and budget transfer 2. We can't pull executive file attachments.
That's supporting. Okay, so can I get a motion to approve the items other than those pulled?
Are there any other?
Nobody said anything. Okay, so can I get a motion to approve the items other than, okay, second? All those in favor? Okay, I'm sure Enrique is probably the person you need to address your questions
don't
about
have
the
them
budget
printed.
transfer.
Yeah, I just.
Oh, maybe I do,
Oh,
yes.
I remember.
Yes, I have them.
Yes.
On budget transfer too, I just wanted to
That's two.
compliment you on the way that you noted the
What's that?
account codes and account
Oh.
names that were out there. It just seemed like we have a lot of budget transfers this year in salaries, and that we've not had that practice before. So, is this a difference between our budgeted figures and our as-is? Why we're having to transfer so much money between accounts? A lot of salary accounts.
Actually, no. What happened is in the past, we did it on a monthly basis. We cover the negatives of salaries on a monthly basis. But because Debbie has been very busy and had to be out for some time, we left it to the end. We should. I mean, this should happen on a monthly basis. In the past, we've been covering the negatives on a monthly basis. So this was just the fact that Debbie was very, very busy and had so many issues this year that we couldn't do it during the year. So you're right. This has to be done on a monthly basis.
Is this going to affect our budget? Because our budgeting, like I noticed you transferring money from special ed to a regular account, a regular education account, from coaching to something else, and from regular education to ESL. Will it affect how what we budgeted on?
No, because the way I budget is I budget per person, every year. So, for example, in this case, a lot of these, for example, the first one, the district transportation and non-instructional, really it was a transfer from 1621, like I put more money in the part of the salary of a custodian driver, in the part of the driver than in the custodian.
Mm-hmm.
So, but the rest, for example, we know exactly the number of people. What happened is that when they move, we didn't move them together with the account code. Now we're moving it together with the account code under Envision. So, for example, Charles last year was in DV. I kept you in BB, but this year you moved to Frankie Lindsay. Then I'm moving you to Frankie Lindsay. So the Frankie Lindsay account code was negative.
Because you spent more than you.
Because you were there, I'm sorry, the BB account was negative because Charles was in Frankie Lindsay. I had to hire a new person in BB, but Charles was still in BB. So Frankie Lindsay
So you went over the budget in Frankie
in BB, but the money was already budgeted in Frankie Lindsay.
So it's just like that.
But that's why there's so many. But this should have happened during the year as the changes happen. But again, now that I have another person, this will not happen again. It would happen on a monthly basis. If there's movement of teachers, at that moment, we'll make the change rather than at the end of the year.
And on the other one, the budget transfer, that you did a good job putting it out, but you put the account code but not the account name. It's easier to read when you have the account name on the one, the first budget. There's just one thing.
We revised it.
You revised it, no? It's like I was on vacation, I saw it, and I called Roseanne and this one, no? It's revised.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, it was revised at a later time.
Probably you got the original one, but it was revised.
But transfer to other funds, that's not an account name.
Yeah,
It is?
yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's the last one. Transfer.
Then you did it perfectly, I was wrong, thank you.
Yeah, that's
He's a good boy.
that's a transfer from we cannot pay the bonds out of the general fund. So we need to transfer the money from the general fund to the capital account to pay the bonds. So that's transfer. Yeah, it's the last account in the 600 account codes. It's
Yeah.
the last.
Okay. Yeah.
So you're good?
Yeah.
Okay. Then can I get a motion to approve fiscal 8.2?
So,
Second? All those in favor? Okay. So that brings us to our superintendent's report.
We wrapped up, last week, we had a 4-day Lego robotics camp for students in grades 4 through 7 and, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. At the middle school, we had more students than we had slots, which we had to do a lottery, and then very quietly we were able to get a couple more kids in. That was made possible by a grant from Entergy. And
Thank you,
we're going
Entergy.
to, yes, thank you, Entergy. We're going to build on that program. The whole idea was to generate some interest in the summer and then provide supplies and materials for all 5 schools to build an after-school club, Lego Robotics Club in the 5 schools that ultimately could compete.
So this will be ongoing.
It will be ongoing. Yep. At the middle school and high school level, there are VEX robotics competitions sponsored by Lego and other corporations that are real competitions, regional or school district versus school district competitions. So this is our dip our toe in the water to start. Summer school, our ESY program, these are students who have IEPs that have a mandated 30-day summer experience on their IEP. That started Frank G. Lindsay yesterday and goes until 17th, 18th of October, whatever that Friday is, of August, I'm sorry, as well as the high school summer program. So not letting a lot of grass grow. And I'll leave my report at that.
Thank you. Brings us to audience comments.
Right.
So, board comments, new business. I would just like to congratulate Carol and welcome her back. And then welcome Lisa and Bill. Look forward to several years of your company and your input and your contribution. So thank you, and thank you for stepping up and doing this.
Appreciate it.
You do. If there's nothing else, we can adjourn. We can go to a second exec. All right.
you can make a motion.
Yeah, I'm just got lost there. So can I get a motion to move to exec?
So moved.
Second. All those in
Second.
favor?
Aye.
Aye.